Welcome to the Bromley Adult Education College Digital Drop-In Podcast, getting you back to work with confidence.
Hello, I'm Jill Collier and welcome to episode 28 of the Digital Drop-In Podcast. Today I'm joined by Veronica Lee, who is going to talk about setting up a business almost by accident and how she got to that point and how she's doing with it. So hello Veronica.
Hello.
Veronica joins us because I wanted her to talk about her dog walking business. I thought that was a very interesting business, and I might be wrong, but I'm kind of thinking there might not be too much expense to setting up a business like this. It's not like having to buy in goods that you might be selling. It's a service. So Veronica, you started life with a background of banking, is that right?
I did, yes, many years ago.
Yes, and how many years were you in banking for roughly?
Oh, I was in banking from the age of 17 till I was 23.
Right, okay, so some time then.
Yeah, some time ago.
5-6 years, my maths is terrible.
Yeah, mine too.
And then you had a career break and had 3 children.
I did, yes.
And when we've got children, it's very tempting to get sucked into the educational world, isn't it, with the school holidays?
It certainly is.
It's really hard to get a job to get so much time off.
It is, yeah, really difficult. And trying to juggle a full-time job with a young family is a job in itself, isn't it?
It is. So you retrained.
I did, yes.
And you became a teaching assistant for special needs children, is that right?
That's right, I did. I wanted to do something that would fit in with my family, so I could still, for me, being there for them was really important. So, but I also wanted to have a career and something for myself. So retraining and doing that was something I could do both with, still be there for them and still go to work.
And that worked very well for about 8 years?
It did, yeah.
So you must have seen some children right the way through the
I
system.
did, yeah, and they kind of grew up with my own children because of the ages they were at. They were going through the same years, so it was nice. Yeah, it was really good, and it gave me the flexibility of being there for them and also, you know, going back out to work and having something outside of just being mum at home and, you know.
Definitely, it's so important, isn't it?
Yeah, really important.
And then I think I'm right in saying almost by accident you started a new career. So
I did.
What happened?
So I took some time out of working in schools. If I'm being honest, I was falling out of love with the job really. And due to personal experiences and my mum being unwell at the time, I decided to just stop working and be around for her and help her. After sort of doing that, I very quickly realised, you know, not working at all just wasn't for me, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back into schools, but I wanted to do something. And it was when I was helping out at my son's school as a parent helper that I got chatting to another parent who mentioned somebody she knew needed a bit of help. They were struggling, they needed help with their dog. And I was like, well, I've got loads of time on my hands. I'll happily do it. And basically, that is how Go Walkies was born. It just happened, you know, overnight. I kind of had been thinking about it. People had been saying, you know, well, why don't you do this, or you could do that, and I thought, yeah, I could do that actually. You know, I've got my own dog which I need to walk. You know, this possibly could be a thing, but I just didn't take that leap. I felt too frightened to make it reality, and I thought, I don't know, but I just did. But by accident, like you say, I kind of fell into it, and then I thought, actually, I'm going to make this something. And I can remember messaging a group of friends on a group chat and sort of saying, look, I'm going to do this, but I don't know what to call myself. What do you think? And even as I sent that message out, I remember cringing inside and thinking, oh, they're going to think, what is she doing next? You know, what's she on now? But, you know, I'm so glad I was brave and did that because it's become really successful. I love what I do. For my mental health, it's amazing. You know, my job is just, I really enjoy it and I love it. And I'm just so glad. And I never would have thought all those years ago that this is what I would end up doing, having my own small business and being really successful with it. So it's good.
It's so funny, isn't it? I feel for children leaving school because so much pressure is put on what you want to do, you know, what's your degree going to be in. And I say that to people all the time. Where you start as to where you are 20 years down the line is often unrecognisable.
Definitely.
Isn't it?
And I would never have imagined this is what I'd be doing.
So how did you take it, Veronica, from that first dog that you were doing almost as a favour?
Yeah.
How do you work out, well, what is the limit of dogs I want to walk together, or do I want to walk them independently? How do you, well, I mean, it must have been a bit of a suck it and see to begin with, but
it was, to be honest. And I think I didn't know it was going to grow into what it is today. I think I just went into it with a really open mind and a bit like, oh, I'm just helping someone out. Then someone else would be like, oh, I need help. And that was when I suddenly thought, I could actually make this a small business. This could become a bit of a thing. And I never thought, you know, I'm going to get really busy and be overwhelmed. I always wanted to make it work and have that balance. But I thought to myself, do you know what? I can do this. So basically, it started with that one dog, then another couple. And it was just such a natural progression that it grew really steadily. So I was learning as I was doing it. It wasn't like, right, I'm going to set up this business, I'm going to take on 10 dogs. It was just like a couple more came through, then someone else, and it just was really lovely. And then before I knew it, I went from doing one walk a couple of times a week to one walk every day to now 2 walks every day, and just having that right balance. And then obviously with that came, right, what are the rules here? How many dogs can I walk? How many dogs am I comfortable with walking?
And that's the difference, isn't it?
Keeping them safe, you know, what do I need to buy? What do I need? This is becoming a bit more of a thing. Like, what, you know, how do they travel in my car? What are the rules? You know, I went on a first aid pet course, things like that. All these things that you don't think, people think, oh, just going to walk a dog. There's a lot more to it, and there's a lot of responsibility, and I wanted to do it right. I didn't want it to just, you know, be something that I fell into. Even though I did fall into it, I wanted to do it properly. So I did my courses, found out the rules, you know, like insurances, for example, that you need to have in place, dog walking licenses, keeping up to date with that, forever changing as it is. So I feel lucky that it happened gradually. So it gave me the time to learn on as I kind of went along, really.
I think ignorance is bliss sometimes, and it was actually very fortuitous that you were saying to somebody, look, I'll do it for nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
I just was
I've got the
you
time.
know, I just was so desperate to not be bored. I wanted to be
Because
busy.
sometimes I think if you'd read everything you needed to do before you started, it could have been overwhelming.
Yeah.
Whereas
Definitely.
by thinking, well, what do I need to do to be a dog walker? I'm already walking a dog.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about the fact that you had to have a dog first aid course. Where do you
I
go
know,
for that?
exactly.
Where do you
I know.
Do you
It
do
was
it
just
online, or do you do it?
No, I went to a actual course, and there were like dog mannequins, and we learnt CPR things. I just thought, one, I would never be doing, and two, I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think
like,
I need that.
Owning a dog yourself, you should know all this, but I didn't, and you know, and I was just like, wow, like there's so much to it. But thinking back, it was my mum's dog groomer that said, oh, you know, you should do this, and I was like, oh my God, no way, I don't want to be a dog walker. And she was like, you know, call it this, do it, and I was like, no, I could never see myself doing that. And then suddenly it became a reality, and yeah, learning, you know, certain things along the way, like you say, the first aid course and the rules with how many dogs, and even things like points on your license if you've got a dog in a car that's not restrained properly. It's, you know, there's so much to it. I basically would just get in the car with my dog and think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But you can get 3 points on your license if you haven't got your dog, securely in your car, and it could, you know, cause a distraction. It's a real serious issue.
So on that point, how many dogs do you have to get a certificate from Bromley Council?
So you have to have a dog walking licence. So the rules have changed. It used to be 6. The rules have changed now. Personally, I think walking more than 6 dogs in one go on your own is just not for me. Certain dogs mix well, others don't, and I just wouldn't feel comfortable taking more than 6.
No.
And I'd only take the right 6 that I know.
I was going to say, do you have to sort of,
Yeah.
when you take a new client on,
You've got to think
test it
about,
with-
you've got to meet them, you've got to, see if it, I've got my own dog that comes out, she's like the boss really, so they've got to get on with her, they need to meet, and that dog needs to feel comfortable, it needs to be the right setting for that dog, I might not be for everybody's dog, so that all has to be taken into consideration. But
do you have a mix of big dogs and little dogs, or
people actually call me the cockapoo lady? And
right.
I think some people think I only will accept cockapoos, but that is not the case. I think I'm just they're attracted to me or whatever it is. But basically, lockdown, a lot of people got a cockapoo, didn't they?
They did, yes.
I think it's just coincidence.
It's the most popular dog now.
Yeah.
20 years ago it was a Westie, and now it's a cockapoo.
Exactly. It goes through different phases. And I don't obviously just take cockapoos, but I seem to have a lot of them. Cavapoos, all these different poodle breeds. But no, they're just...
But I'm thinking Bernese Mountain Dog or something that's going to drag you down the road.
Personally, I wouldn't want to take on a dog that I didn't feel I could manage or handle, definitely not, no. So they're the perfect size for me. I mean, my dog's a medium to large size dog. I wouldn't want to take on a bigger dog than that, personally. But then there are other walkers that, you see out and they have these bigger labs, these bigger, stronger dogs, and I guess it's just what works for you, really.
So if you've got up to 6 dogs in your car, do you have to have a special car, or do you use your own family car?
I use my own family car. Sometimes people think I'm mad. I had every intention as my business was growing to get a van, but then financially it's just another vehicle, another lot, And it works for me in my car. I have somebody that comes out every fortnight to valet my car, and, I can't afford a car and a van. So I've got I've basically got really good covers in my car, and then I've got crates, 2 in the back, up to 4 in the boot.
Right.
And then you have to have a grille, obviously, to protect them from being able to escape into the front.
Yes.
You get the old one that wants to jump over and be with you.
Yes.
And that brings you back to how, points on your licence and making sure you're, keeping them safe and yourself safe. So never more than 6. Obviously, my own dog's included in that, and so I take 5 out. But the rules have changed in Bromley now, and there's been uproar and lots of unhappy, dog walkers, because there are other people that are out 5, 6, 7 times a day. It's a full-on business for them, and that's the beauty of it. I think you can be as busy or not as you want or need to be. So for me, it's got to fit in with my life, and that's why I think I love it so much, because it does. I can work it around my life, be my own boss, and it just...
Do you do... if you think of the average client, do you walk that dog just once a day, or are they expecting you to go in twice a day? How does it work?
Each client, I take their dog once a day.
Once a day.
So a typical client would have me from Monday to Thursday walk their dog each day.
Right.
We're out for a minimum of an hour. Most people are working from home or out of the home, so I hold keys for them. So I'm in, get the dog, take it for the walk, bring it home.
So that's another huge trust, isn't it? People
massive.
are giving you their keys. Potentially you're knowing their alarm codes or whatever.
Absolutely,
And
it is a big responsibility. And as we all know, if you have pets, they're like your children, aren't they? So it's a massive responsibility, keeping them safe, making sure they're happy. And ultimately, for me, what it's always been about as it grew is the socialisation side of it. I love watching them run and play together and seeing them so happy. It makes me really happy. I've, got a few rules. For me, it's about socialisation. I'm not somebody that's going to be lead walking a dog. Right. I believe it should be out running free. And I know that's not suitable for every dog, but the ones that are on board with us, that's what they're there for.
Yes,
they're there to have fun and play and run free.
So is one of your prerequisites that if you take a dog on, it's got to have been trained enough that it will have a good recall?
Absolutely, it has to have its recall.
Yeah.
One, for its own safety.
Yes, absolutely.
And 2, because my walks are for socialising and to be off lead, exercising and running free, not if I'm there with 3 dogs and one's on the lead, I just think what a nightmare for that dog.
How sad.
And and I know there are reasons for other dogs not to be able to do that, but I'm not that person. But then when I'm out and about, I know other walkers that do that.
Yes.
So there's someone for everyone, breed or need.
I think that's the beauty of running your own business, isn't it? That you can set your own rules.
Yeah, exactly. Be your own boss.
Yes, and you can say what you will or won't take on.
Yeah, exactly. So. And you know, I have had a few episodes where there have been people like, oh yeah, my dog's got its recall, it's fine, and you quickly realise it hasn't. And that is, again, when you go back to responsibility, a massive risk, because not only does that put the other dog's safety at risk, but that dog, you know, and I am very clear on, if your dog hasn't got its recall, you know,
you're not the right walker.
I'm not the right walker.
Find lots of other people.
Obviously, if it's a puppy I'm taking on,
and
I'm going to work with the owner to help train it, that's different, and they're with me from the start. And a lot of my clients have been with me from the start, and I have been that first person to let them off the lead. And it's nerve-wracking for the owner, and it's nerve-wracking for me. But you know, the sooner you do that, the better, because you need to work on that recall. So, from the beginning. But if you've got a dog that's 4 or 5 years old and it's, you know, not off lead, it's just not my. I'm not a dog trainer. No. I'm a dog walker.
It's not the right client for you, and that, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. Is that you when you run your own business, you can set your own ground rules, can't you?
Definitely.
And if it doesn't fit with one person, it's not the end of the world, is it? So do you do? Just, I don't know if you call it a round, but if you've got this maximum of 6 dogs that you walk for an hour, is that you done for the day, or do you have 2 more? Do you have another round? Could you?
A normal day for me is 2 walks.
2 walks.
So we'll go out in the morning. It's always in the morning, so it'll be an early morning walk and then a later morning walk.
Right.
I have had the odd day where I've had 3, but for me, what works best is 2, because it's quite time consuming to go and collect all the dogs. Even though I'm very lucky and they're all local, by the time we actually get to where we're going and then do our walk, you know, I just. So the flexibility.
It could take maybe up to 2 hours to do a 1 hour walk by the time you've collected
collect them all, this time of year, get them home, help drive them, get the mud off, and you know, settle them, and then off to the next one. So
no, I think people sometimes miss that part of the cost, if you like. They think, oh, it costs that much for an hour, but actually it's actually half that cost, because you've got to kind of double the time to allow collecting, dropping off,
taking them, and everything else that comes with that.
Right. Okay. So you could do sort of up to 2 walks a day.
So that's what works for me. Obviously, there are other walkers out there that are back to back non-stop, you know, and it's just, again, that's the beauty of it. What fits in with your life, and you know, that's why I love it.
What you can and can't. So does it work in general that you have regular clients, or I mean, how you've got a chunk? I mean, if you can only really take 5 clients on plus your own dog, if suddenly somebody wants a walk, or you've got your 2 walks of potentially 5 dogs a time, do you then have to walk that dog in its own? Do you do it as an ad hoc, or would you say, okay, if to take 1 more on, I've effectively got to take 4 more on to make another round? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, so my dog comes out on my first walk. She doesn't come out on my second walk. Right. Now, she used to, so she was getting all these extra walks. She's like, I'm knackered, take me home. But now she doesn't, because I'm busier. So on my second walk, obviously, she's not coming. And I do have flexibility. I have my regulars that, you know, every day is the same. But there are some clients that will be like, oh, could you do an extra walk today? And if I've got that space, happily. So I'll be flexible where I can. But on the whole, I've got my regular people that have their dogs walked on set days. And there's just a little bit of flexibility nowadays. There used to be a lot.
I guess the only thing that changes, because I think anybody that's an animal lover will understand that somebody that you entrust to look after your fur baby is, you know, you just don't want to switch, do you? You have all your confidence in them, and so you're not going to get a high turnover of clients.
No.
The 2 exceptions, I guess, would be moving house, or sadly that doggy passing away, which must be horrific.
That is, because you treat them like your own. They become your own, and that is devastating, as it is as a dog owner, obviously. So that's sad. But clients that I've taken on, they've been with me from little babies. Some have even been and collected with them, and it's just lovely. So it's a regular thing once you know they're out with you regularly and booked in.
You don't tend to lose. I think what I'm saying is that you don't tend to lose clients.
No,
it becomes quite a standard thing.
Yeah, it does. I've lost a client in the past because you know, their situations change with their job or they're around more.
Yes.
But another dog comes along and that space gets filled. I've had a situation where they then went back to work like, oh, can you, and that's really hard because you sort of, that dog's been with you. But the beauty of it is there's a little bit of a dog walker's world out there where you become friendly with lots of other dog walkers, so everybody will try and help someone out. So if I can't take on that dog, I'll know someone that can. Or if I can't board that dog to stay, I'll definitely know someone that can.
Do you offer much dog boarding?
I don't, because I used to, but my own dog had surgery 3 years ago now, and ever since then I've kind of had to put her first. She likes to go out for a walk and just come home and be left in peace. It's just, she's 8 now, so it's going to be 9 this year.
I think that's another level of a commitment though, isn't it? Having other people's dogs in your home.
In your home, it is a big commitment, and you know, if I didn't have a dog it'd be different, but I have, and she's always got to come first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So with the dog walking, you've probably got as many clients as you want then.
Yeah, I have. I've got a little bit of flexibility, which is good to always have, because you know, there's always going to be someone that's going to get caught short and need an extra walk. I've got a friend, for example, who's an air hostess, so she doesn't need me regularly, but when she is away, she definitely needs me. So it's nice to be able to have those spaces to offer up to people like that.
It's quite interesting. You say some of your clients work from home. I would think in their break they would walk their own dog,
I know.
As in for their mental health and well-being, just to get out the door and think, let me have a break. I've got this commitment to walk my dog.
I don't know, maybe working at home, you're so sucked into your job you don't take a break, but I do, it's an interesting thing to mention, because I often think, you know, for me, if I worked from home, I used to have a dog walker myself when I worked full-time.
Yes.
And getting out for that break is just, you know, it's important. But that said, when I used to come home on my lunch break to walk the dog, it's such a rush and you're trying to eat a sandwich, and I don't know, I think it's quite a thing now, having a dog walker.
It definitely is more of a thing now than it was. I remember when I used to work in an office many moons ago and had 2 dogs, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving them all day.
No.
And it was really difficult to find a dog walker.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I found someone that almost became a second mum to me.
Yeah.
And so it worked out really, really well.
It's finding that person that's right for you and your dog, isn't it? I think.
Similar thing, she gave more than a pound of flesh because, you know, she had a dog that she wanted to walk.
Yeah.
So to get paid for walking 2 other dogs at the same time, it worked. But
it just works.
I mean, people used to laugh at me at the time when I was saying I used to pay someone to come in and sit with my dogs.
Sit with the dog.
You know, I didn't even care if she walked them.
It doesn't matter, just be there. But also, I've got clients that don't work, but they want their dog to socialise and go out and have fun with all the other dogs.
Yes.
So they're using me for that. It's not just that they can't walk their dog, it's that they, you know, maybe once a week want their dog to go out and have, you know, go to playgroup.
Yes.
You know, so.
No, I think it's definitely something that's more.
I think it's good for them. It's so good for them to socialise. A lot of dogs have issues with socialising because they're not socialised. You know, it's not just about exercise, is it?
So Go Walkies has gone from a dog,
literally a dog,
to a business that you're very happy with.
That I'm very happy with, absolutely. I just love it, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else now. But I could never have seen myself doing this. What do they say? Never work with children or animals, and I've done both.
Yes.
But I love this, and I think a big chunk of that is getting out walking is so good for you mentally. Also, being your own boss.
Absolutely.
Never been my own boss, and I definitely would not be my own boss now. I'd never go back to, you know.
They do say once you're, you know, like self-employed.
Once you're in it, that's it.
You can never go back
I couldn't.
to working within those restrictions.
No,
because,
exactly.
I mean, again, your clients trust you, so if you're suddenly half an hour late or something, it just
or something comes up.
Yeah, you've got a doctor's
I feel really
appointment,
grateful actually about that.
You've got that flexibility.
I've got some really lovely, well, all my clients, I'm really lucky, really understanding, really caring, and I feel privileged to do what I do and have those lovely people in my life. You know, certain times of the year somebody might leave me out a little treat. You know, they're so thoughtful.
Not a dog treat, I hope.
No.
A bonio.
I leave me like, I've got one. It got to the point where I was almost like, if there wasn't anything left out of me, I was like, what's going on today? Come on, Tracy. But she'll always give me a little chocolate bar or a little, like in the winter, like someone bought me like hand warmers, just really lovely little things. And I'm like, just feel appreciated.
I've still got pictures of you nibbling on a bone.
Nibbling on a bone, yeah. A marrow bone.
That is it. We all like to be appreciated.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what job you do.
Yeah.
We
it's
all
just
like to be appreciated,
and
don't we?
That sometimes means more than any of it, you know. Just
so. I mean, I guess the kind of the seasons can have an impact. I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe when it's so hot, you've probably got to get them out quite early.
Or sometimes you can't walk because it's too hot. Hot. Even getting out as early as you possibly physically can is too hot, and it is not worth the risk.
No.
Then you have days like this morning.
That's what I was thinking.
And there's a few of us. It's funny we're talking about this today because we're walking around the woods having a right old moan.
Yeah.
This weather. No one realises, what it's like. The dogs are covered in mud, our cars stink, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. And there's another dog walker I know, she's lovely, her name's Sam. And we often laugh and say, we could write a book on the life of a dog walker because people see it and think, what a cushy number, walking around in the sunshine, nice tan, strolling along with a dog. They don't see, the chaos that can also happen. But, the bad outweighs the good. Or the good outweighs the bad, sorry.
No, that's what I was thinking, that there is going to be days where it's horrific.
Yeah,
but
horrific, and you've got to get them out, and you're caked
weather,
in mud, you might have fallen over in the mud, you might have been knocked over by a dog. Honestly, I could write a book. Yes. Or me and the other dog walkers together, we could write a book.
I know Go Walkies is very successful. It's been running for about 4 years now.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. I know it's very successful and you don't need to promote it, but I'm just curious what role kind of social media plays in both setting up and maintaining a business in this day and age.
Yeah.
I certainly became aware of you because of the stories you would put on Instagram and things, and seeing all the dogs having a good time. Do you put your stories on social media for your existing clients to see what their dogs are doing, or is it promotion for your company to get your name out there? Is it a bit of both? How does it work?
It started, that was probably one of the first things I did. I chose my name, what I was going to call myself, and set up my social media pages. I suppose initially because I thought, well, everything's on social media now. If I'm going to promote this business and get it up and running, it's going to need to be on there. But that isn't where my client base came from. It came from friends and word of mouth.
Yeah.
And the reason I post is because my clients just love to see their little babies running around having fun and what they've been up to and lovely pictures. But equally, people I know that don't have dogs message me and say, I love seeing your pictures. They make me smile, seeing that, So for everyone, really, I don't do it to promote myself because I don't feel I need to, because I've been very lucky and I'm very grateful that everything's been word of mouth. But it shows people that are looking, I suppose, for a dog walker.
Yeah.
People can then tag me and recommend me, and then they can go and look at my page and see what I'm about.
Yes.
Which I think is reassuring and important. If I was looking for a dog walker, I'd want to see what the walks look like, and do the dogs look well cared for, and what's going on. And I guess when you're working and you can't walk your dog, it's nice to see, how was their walk? A little snippet of what their day's been like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of how the world has moved on, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yes, the luxury of seeing what your dog is doing. But I personally think, I didn't have to ask you what your company name was. I knew what it was because of your social media.
Yeah.
I do think it's important that all companies have a presence now in the sort of the socials.
Yeah. Everything's on social media now, isn't it? Everything's run by social media.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
Yes. And
it's not so much websites and things, really, is it?
No, it's if people want a more, if it's a slightly different type of business, they need a more in-depth information. The socials will normally take them to a website.
Them to it, exactly.
But I think certainly in this day and age, it's
the way of the world, isn't it now?
It's free to set up social media.
Exactly.
And you can dip your toe in the water, can't you?
Definitely.
So I guess this is a digital drop-in podcast, so I always kind of like to bring it back to digital skills. And I think it's another way of people being digitally aware
Yeah.
is I think you can be a voyeur on social media. You don't have to post yourself if you don't want to.
Exactly.
And certainly something like Instagram, probably more than Facebook, it's really more about pictures,
It's just pictures, and you know, it's not really direct interacting either. It's just, you can like a picture, you haven't got a comment, you can just look at it, you know. Whereas Facebook's a bit different, isn't it? But yeah, no, I think social media is just the way the world is now, isn't it? And it's the side of my job that is important to me, because I think it's important that every day I'm showing my clients what their dog's up to, and that's just an easy way for them to be kept up to date, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. It's certainly easier than sending everybody...
How muddy they're coming home to, their dog. How bad is it going to be when I get in?
Perhaps a photo of them shaking themselves up
shaking
the
them all up the white hallway.
So they really know.
Yeah. No, they're good. They leave towels out.
Yes, no, I think, as I say, I think bringing it back to the digital side, I do think social media is such a huge part of any small business now, because it does allow you the freedom of being able to show potential clients down the line. Because as I say, people do move away. There is the odd space here and there, and it shows them what Go Walkies does, and
what we're about.
There's a history. They can flip back through 4 years.
Exactly.
Of
I've
photos.
had people start following me a year before they've even got their dogs. They're thinking about, you know. So some people will go. I suppose it brings you back to when your children are going to start certain school. Some people start looking just when their children aren't even born, and other people just wait till the last minute. That'll be me. But you know, it's lots of different reasons really, but it's useful.
So no, I'm delighted we've had this chat. I'm delighted that a small business has become so successful for you, but also I would assume very fulfilling.
Very, very fulfilling. I just love what I do. Like I say, it makes me really happy, but I'm in equal measure, so grateful to be able to do it and have this little business. I feel proud of it.
As you should be proud of it.
Thank
well
you.
Done you, Veronica.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
It. And if I ever need a dog walker, I'll pray.
You know where I am.
I'll pray you have a slot.
As long as you give me a bonio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye. For help with all your job searching needs, do visit one of our digital drop-in venues. On a Monday, we are open 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at our Poveris Centre, and on a Tuesday, we are open 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our Kentwood Centre. In our sessions, we offer free use of computers for job searching, advice on creating a winning CV, plus lots of short training courses to gain skills in the digital world.
This podcast has been produced by Bromley Adult Education College. For full details of how we can support your return to work, visit our website www.baec.ac.uk and search for Digital Drop-In. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to receive notifications of new episodes.